Good morning, everyone. This is Diane. I didn't know if I should even turn my camera on today because right now I am just going to be working on, just coloring some of my pages. And you've seen me do this before. Might be a little bit very slightly different today, but I haven't done anything crafty really in a while on camera, I think. I've been showing hauls or I don't even know what I've been doing, but I feel like I haven't been crafty for a while. I have been working on my sister's journal. I've got the pages done, and I'm going to use these as a kind of a template for doing this set of pages. This set is going to be a little bit smaller to match the cover that I'm using, and I will show that to you. I have to tell you, this is the cover. Isn't that pretty? This is one of the covers that was chosen by one of my customers a long time ago, where I did a haul video, and she selected about 8 covers and wanted them made into journals, all spread out. And we're down to 2, and this is the next to the last one. I just sent her a message. I figure I've been holding on to these covers for a long time. And this cover matches beautifully what I'm doing right now. So I just sent her a message, told her I'm making the book. And, you know, it's still hers if she wants it. But if I don't hear from her by the time I have the book ready to go, I'm just going to list it. So I have to tell you that because I've told you I don't take orders anymore. Or do reservations anymore. But this was reserved a long time ago, and there's still one more that she has reserved. So I haven't heard from her. We haven't spoken since November was our last communication. So hopefully she will see my message and tell me whether she wants it or not. But anyway, I am going to be coloring the pages and using this set of papers as my guide. Just to help me, you know, it speeds things up if I already know what I'm doing. So I did make a little bit of a change because I put this paper on the inside instead of, or on the front instead of this side, because this one is just a little bit bigger. These papers were so nice. I can't remember what digital they came from. It was just a set of papers. It wasn't a kit. But the edges were kind of like this, and I very carefully cut around all the edges and made them look, you know, like torn brittle paper. You can see it a little bit better here. But I had to cut them down to size, so I had to cut off those edges. So on the larger book, they're still intact. On the smaller book, I cut them just as large as I could. So anyway, I ended up putting them on the outside of the signature. So I am going to be coloring this page first. So I just thought we would do a little craft with me today. I used Victorian Velvet and just a few different stencils, and it's a very subtle color. And I also used a couple of stamps after I did the stenciling, so that's why I said it's going to be slightly different. I've done that before, but I don't know if I've done that on camera. So I'm just gonna, whoops, I want to use my brush for this part. I just kind of move my stencil around, making various shapes. Some of the areas are smaller, and some I kind of spread out diagonally, just little bits. And then I usually take my ink and go around the edges just to put a little color on the edges. It adds, you know, it's a little bit longer to do this, of course, but I really like the way it looks when I edge the pages. I do like the look of stenciling and inking on coffee dyed paper, but I don't normally do that just because it's time consuming and it's not that necessary on coffee dyed paper. So I spend enough time on this stuff. So I'm taking my antique linen distress ink and this little rosebud or rose stamp. So of course the antique linen is going to be very light, but I just scatter some roses. On the paper. And then I'll take some vintage photo, which of course is darker, and this script stamp looks like that. It's not in English. And I'll just take this and put some ink on it and just kind of tap it down. That's upside down. And you'll notice I didn't put it on the block. I don't put the full square down. Just kind of roll it up and tap it down. And that's what my page ends up looking like. And you can write over this. Michelle, did you notice I'm using hot chocolate, using the mug you just sent me? It's not hot anymore. I didn't warm it up hot enough anyway. So I guess I'm done with that. Okay, then I'm going to switch this. Some of the pages I had printed with line paper on the back. I like to do that some, but not for every page because it takes a lot of ink, a lot of extra ink to do that. But I like it so you have lines to write on, but also so that's less coloring I have to do. And these pages, not this one, but these pages are from Porch Swing Design, and they are called Cottage Garden. Beautiful. I've had them printed for a while, wanting to use them. I guess this goes here. So I will do some stenciling on this page. For this one, I will take this portion of this stencil and just scatter flowers around. I'm using the same color on every page. I don't normally do that unless I'm just using vintage photo. If I'm using colors, I usually use a couple different colors at least. But this time I'm just using the Victorian Velvet. I go off the page for some of it, like that. And again, I'll put it around the edges. So this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'll do some stamping too. And that way, since I'm following that book, I know where I want the stamping. Normally I do the stamping after I've done a lot of the other decorating, just so I know, you know, where my pockets are and everything, so I know where I have spaces to stamp. But I'm following this book that these pages that I've already done. This one, I'm just going to use the word stamp. I don't have a little stamp. Since I'm following this book, I'm just going to stencil and stamp while I'm over here today. That way I can clean up all my inks and stencils and stamps and get this part cleaned up already. Even though I might do something very, very similar with the next journal, next pair of journals that I'm doing. Okay, so on this page, on these two pages, I'm going to stamp. I have my ink here. Oh, did I bump the camera with my chair? This is an older Stampin' Up! Set from 2003. And I don't know if I should use this stamp for this page, for this book. My sister's book, she wanted it to be vintage ladies and gardens, but she's a seamstress. She's an excellent seamstress. And she also loves the dress forms. So I gave her a couple of dress forms, some on the paper and some with a stamp, or at least one. But maybe I'll just stick with garden and ladies for this book here. So I'll stamp a lady here, I guess. I have this old stamp that I bought years ago. This is a Hero Arts from 2002. Okay, that's it. So this signature is done, being colored anyway. That was quick. I said this is why I do 2 books at a time. The other reason is because there are, for example, in this kit that I'm using from Garden Swing, Porch Swing Design, there are so many elements, because I bought the pages and then I bought 2 add-ons that have, I don't know if they had extra pages, but it had a lot of pockets and cards and things. So there, and even in whatever kits I bought with pages, I have a lot of pages. So I divide them up over 2 journals usually. And it just allows me to make multiple journals in less time, because I have all the things out for this particular style of journal, and I just do the same things pretty much in both journals, which saves time, you know, trying to think and figure out what I want to do, what kind of elements I want to include. For this, I'll use this stamp, another Stampin' Up! Stamp, and again the antique linen. You cannot see them very well unless well, it shows up pretty good. I just think, you know, adding things like this, different colors, subtle designs, just adds a little bit of texture and depth to the page. But I still want you to be able to write on it. My sister also, well, this one has two. What the heck? All right, I'm confused. My sister chose a lot of laces and things, so there may be more laces in her journal than I will put on this other journal, but we'll see. You know, if I do too much to it, then I'll have to charge more. Okay, those are those two pages. And this one. And this one. Yeah, this one has two lined pages, so I'll have to color this one. And I'll use this swirly one. I said in a previous video that I like to use these blending brushes for actually doing the stencils. But if I'm just inking around the edges of something, I like to use these. They seem to work better for around the edges. But for this, I'm just going to continue using the brush since it's already inked with this color. I always go down the center also. Well, I do not care much for summer. I don't like heat. I don't feel well when it's hot. My husband struggled terribly in the heat. His father had heat stroke. And I think Bill did too. I'm pretty sure he did. I don't know if it was diagnosed as such, but he suffered a lot in the heat. But anyway, I don't like it. Spring I like, except for allergies, but so far I haven't really been suffering with the allergies. But it seems like every year, if I recall, I say that thinking it should have hit me by now, and then after I think I've dodged a bullet on that, then it hits me. So it may still be coming. What am I doing here? But anyway, I'm trying to look on the bright side of things. You know, summer's coming. It's gonna be here. And what do I like about summer? I like the fact that the flea markets are open, and also I'm trying to find my little this thing so I can stamp the words. I also like it when the soft ice cream places are open, because I love a soft ice cream cone. Oh dear, I don't know where it is. So yesterday evening, just as I was finishing my supper, my daughter called and asked if I wanted to go for ice cream. And of course I said yes. So I had my first ice cream outing. There it is. I had an ink pad sitting on top of it. Had my first ice cream outing of the season, and it was delicious. The ice cream, I just get a small twist cone, which they don't make them very small, which is why I get a small. The ice cream was so creamy and delicious. It was good. So that is one thing I look forward to about summer. Another Stampin' Up! Stamp. Some of these are from the same set. I like that Stampin' Up! Has sets. That's the first stamp company I saw that sold their stamps in sets that matched together, and I loved that. Now, of course, with the clear stamps, you have a lot of places that sell them that way. And this is from that same Stampin' Up! Set. Pretty flower basket. I believe we're done with this signature for coloring and stamping. One more to go. I think this video will be over half an hour, but that's okay. I want to get these colored. And I can move on to sewing on laces and stuff. There's this stencil that I'm going to use for this page. I had used one of Porch Swing Designs kits for a prayer journal a while ago. For my other sister, I made her a prayer journal for Christmas, and then I made one to sell, and it was In the Garden, I think it was called. Very pretty, shabby chic kind of kit. But I purchased this kit at the same time. Oops, I'm not done yet. And I just love it. I had it all printed out. A lot of times when I purchase a kit, when it's on sale or just because I think it's gorgeous and I want it, so I buy it. And then a lot of times I print it right out, even though I don't know when I'm going to use it, because I want to see it. I can see it on my, on my computer in my files, but I want to see it printed out. So I have folders of materials that are already printed. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to as far as being crafty is I want to kind of get away from doing themed journals a little bit, at least, you know, some. I feel like that's all I do, which is fine. I like them. Like this is beautiful, and I have themes that I want to do. Holly Hobby and cookbook and owls and all kinds of stuff that I want to do. But I really want to do some, I guess this is what I want. That one has 2 line pages too. Some generic types where I can use vintage pieces and that don't have to go, that, like if I have vintage pieces that don't necessarily go with this theme, and so I'm just collecting these things and not using them, and I want to use them. So, and also, you know, different types of papers. I just want to do just generic junk journals. I want to make them a little junkier, I guess. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Junkier journals. And still do these kinds too. But when I'm doing design team projects, I don't usually make them junky. And right now I'm only on 3 design teams instead of 4. And 2 of them don't require a monthly project, but I try to anyway, just so I don't let them slip, you know. But one of them is Mrs. Coggs, and I've had her teddy bear kit, her teddy bear cards, and I love them, and I've got such great book covers to make teddy bear books. One of them is going to be mine because I used to collect teddy bears. I don't anymore, and I've gotten rid of most of them. I used to make jointed teddy bears, mostly fur ones, but I did make some out of old patchwork quilts that were falling apart, and I have one of those left. Oh my goodness. That's all I kept of the bears that I made. I used to sell them. So I love teddy bears. I have a few figurines because they're meaningful. But anyway, one of these teddy bear books is going to be mine. But I have other book covers that'll be great for teddy bear books, so I really want to do that. And TLC Creates Vintage is the other one, and she has so many. She comes out with kits really fast, but there are so many that she has that I want to use. So you know, I do want to do the theme journals. She had TLC, Paulette from TLC. There's one in there. There's a kit that I had decided I was going to use next from her. And then she came out with one that has Renaissance images. And I was like, oh man, I need that one. So, I don't know. I don't know which one I'm going to do first. Okay, I guess we're done coloring. Now I can get on to adding things to the pages. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, it wasn't over half an hour. Yay, I did good. And I'll be back with some other stuff going on in this journal. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.